Did you see my new Mega Crush Crocs? Oh yeah, I'm gonna be crushing things left and right. Mega Crush Crocs. Hey, good morning. Good morning. I don't want to play that new intro that I made. I just, no, it's not a good one. I feel so I'm going to have to look for another song. So my hunt begins again. So, anyway, good morning. Good morning, Junk Baby. Good morning, Mike. How are you? So good to see you. Really is. Anyway, so I don't want to like do a long intro today. Apparently, people don't like it. But, yes, like something like yesterday was just like a hangout, stream, and people need to understand that. I put that in the script. So, I hope they got that. Okay. So today we're going to cover Carangi or Carangi. No, Carangi. That's it. Sorry about that. Gia, like, I know you guys have seen the movie, and it kills me. I'm not an Angelina Jolie fan at all, and it killed me that she's the one that played her. But I love that they made a movie about her because she deserves it. She was a supermodel, like before the word supermodel ever, was invented. And the way it was invented was a few models were sitting around talking, and a supermodel was just a model that worked a lot. Like, that's a super, I don't know, super cleaner is somebody who cleans a lot, like Fernet. Okay. But yeah, so that's how that came about. But she was it before she and her look was ever it. And she did famously write once in her book about who? AMNTP. Who's that? Oh, wait. I don't know. What is that? I don't know who that is. Oh, that's what I thought you were. But okay, the P threw me off. You know what? I probably will. I've seen some stuff on America's Next Top Model, and it was she was a monster. But I did hear that she did not do so well recently, walking down an aisle or something, or a catwalk. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. So yeah, I'll probably cover that. Okay. Thanks for the idea. Thanks for bringing it up. I almost forgot about that because she apparently was a monster. You know. Oh, really? Oh God, I hope it's not a bunch of PR. Probably will be. Um, God. Remember her, everybody had a talk show, including Tyra. Okay. Let's jump on in. So, okay. Um, so she was a very, very talented writer, Gia. And one of the things she did right was that they play with all the pretty dolls in the house, dressing them up. But when they're done with them, they discard them. And I just thought that was so fitting of her, you know, perception while she was in the business, and so fitting of what happens to her, you know? Okay, let's jump on in, guys. Why is this not working? Hold on a second. Oh, okay. See if this is it. Yep. Okay. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulty there. Okay. So let's jump in. This is a React discussion. So let's go.
There are models who just walk the runway, and then there are those who kick it down and dare the world to look away. Gia Carangi did the latter. She wasn't just another model, she was a storm in heels. A girl from Philly who crashed into fashion like she owned it. And for a moment, maybe she did. But what happens when someone refuses to play by the rules in an industry built on perfection? What's the cost of being too real, too raw, too vulnerable? Too soon? Gia Carangi lit up every lens she stood in front of. Then, just as quickly, she vanished. Was it addiction? Was it the system? Or was it something deeper? Something the industry still doesn't want to talk about? This is the story of the supermodel who broke the mold and paid the price for it. A story fashion tried to bury, but one that refuses to die. Buckle up. This is a crazy deep dive you won't forget.
I just wish they would use more of actual the real Gia rather than going to quick clips of Angelina playing her, because I mean, look at her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to put it, but it's just it's about her. She was amazing. Okay. Especially in a time where everybody was blonde and everybody looked the same. She broke the mold. She wasn't polished. She didn't have people like, let's put it out there, Kendall Jenner, who were teaching her how to walk. But, oh, she was too bored. She had to stop. No, this was the real thing. This came from real talent. I know it sounds ridiculous. Talent for a model, but yeah, talent. You have to know how to, work that camera, if you know what I mean. And she was magnetic. Absolutely.
Gia Marie Carangi wasn't born into glamour. She was born into a storm. Philadelphia, 1960. Her father, Joe, ran a chain of sandwich shops, loud, volatile, and emotionally distant.
Michael, she was, I think she might have hit New York starting around the late 70s. And she was in like a name in the 80s. And we know she dies at 26. And she does make a public film that she wanted to record while she was in the hospital. And it must have been very, very scary back then to have people walking in big, huge biohazard, suits to be around you. It's must have been frightening and horrible. The pain. Yeah.
Mother Kathleen, young, restless, and aching for something more than domestic chaos. The final rupture came when Joe
Yes,
accused
Mike,
Kathleen of
it does.
cheating and demanded proof, physically. That night, Kathleen left. Not just the room, the marriage, the house, the kids. Gia was 11. Her brother Michael remembered it clearly. The house turned into chaos. No rules, no structure. Gia was the youngest. The breakup affected her the worst. With her mother
Hello.
gone and her father emotionally checked out, Gia began to shapeshift, trying to earn affection in all the wrong ways. She dressed like her brothers, copied their moves, tried to become one of the boys. Maybe then she thought, Dad will see me. But he didn't. And yet, in the middle of this emotional void, Gia found something. Someone, David Bowie. And through Bowie, she found her people. She fell in with a group of Philly misfits called the Bowie Kids. Gender
Bowie
fluid,
kids.
wild, queer before the world had a word for it. Gia chopped off her hair, wore men's clothes, flirted shamelessly with girls, and found the first taste of belonging. Gia was the purest lesbian I ever met, one friend said. She was sending girls flowers at 13. Her mother didn't understand. When Kathleen found a love letter Gia had written to a girl, she sent her to a therapist to be corrected. But Gia didn't need fixing. She just needed to be loved for exactly who she was. By 17, Gia had already become a legend in Philadelphia's underground scene. She was a fixture at gay clubs like DCA and Second Story. Bold, flirtatious, walking in like she was on a runway. Even if the floor was sticky and the lights were low, she was magnetic. And it was there that hairstylist Maurice Tannen first spotted.
First of all, I hate sticky floors. Let's just put that out there, okay? And was it called Second Story because it was on the Second Story? I just had to say that. Okay. Now, this I do not remember from that movie, so I don't know what this is from. If there's another movie out there that somebody knows about, please let me know. Oh, yeah, because this is definitely different.
Her. Maurice wasn't just clubbing, he was scouting. He saw Gia on the dance floor, confident and chaotic, and asked if she'd pose for him. She agreed. The photos he shot of her, sharp cheekbones, intense eyes, cropped hair, weren't polished, but they had heat, energy, something raw. Maurice included them in his portfolio, and eventually, those photos made their way to makeup artist Sandy Linter. Sandy stopped flipping when she hit Gia's photo. She later recalled, there was this image of her in black and white, and she had this amazing face. I couldn't look away.
You see the movie The Eyes of Laura Mars? This girl did it before the movie. I mean, she really, really was amazing.
I told Wilhelmina she had to meet her. So they called her in. And Gia showed up like no one ever had.
New York
no
accent.
Chaperone, no makeup, no prep. Just a teenage girl in ripped jeans and cowboy boots. A switchblade casually tucked into her waistband. And yes, it's true. According to multiple accounts, she really did pull it out in Wilhelmina's lobby and carve her name into the receptionist's desk. It wasn't a PR stunt. It wasn't a pose. That's just who Gia was. Part rebel, part punk, and all presence. Wilhelmina Cooper, the legendary model-turned-agent, was instantly intrigued. She turned to Sandy Linter and said, make sure she gets signed. 3 days later, Gia was officially part of Wilhelmina Models. No headshots, no runway training, no polishing. Just raw force and a face that stopped people cold. Her first test shoots were chaotic. Gia didn't yet know how to model the way the others did, but she didn't need to. Even in early shoots, photographers noticed something different.
When you mean a young of her, when are you talking about? Because are you talking about like back when she was at home? Or when they showed her crying when her dad left or whatever? If you're talking about that, I don't know who played her. I don't even remember that, but from the movie actually. But basically, I don't think so. And as any of her like more grown up, like all the recent footage, it's been either the real Gia or, unfortunately, clips of Angelina. Oops.
Didn't pose. She moved. One photographer said later, she had this street smart energy. She didn't strike a pose. She attacked the camera.
Her face, the way sometimes her face would be a little crooked, like her mouth. I mean, sometimes it was a little tough. Sometimes it would be whatever
Like
the
this.
spirit was, and it gave back to the picture.
Gia wasn't just another hopeful. She was a force of nature, the kind you don't train, you just try to keep up with. Gia's first professional photo shoot wasn't glamorous. It was awkward, even terrifying. She showed up to the studio and froze. Picture it. A young girl surrounded by statuesque blondes, all legs and angles, perfectly trained in how to turn, smile, deliver that look. Gia? She was none of that. She was panicking until Sandy Linter stepped in. Sandy wasn't just a makeup artist. She was Gia's lifeline in those early days. She calmed her down, handed her a mirror, and told her to breathe. Look at yourself, she said. That's when it happened.
Oh, that's
Gia leaned into the mirror,
What?
tentative at first, and Sandy, trusting her gut, grabbed a camera and took the shot herself. That image, with Gia's reflection staring back at the lens, became her first breakout. It was published. People noticed. The face had arrived. What was it about her? Maybe it was the contrast.
Hey,
Soft lips,
Fernette.
hard stare, or that mix of masculine and feminine energy that didn't just challenge beauty standards, it blew them up. Within weeks, she booked her first paying gig. Then came the moment that really set her apart. A shoot with photographer Lance Stadler. No top, just black jeans, a borrowed leather jacket, and that stare. Stadler remembered thinking, this girl could eat the lens alive. And fashion? Fashion couldn't get enough. By late 1978, Gia was everywhere. Her style, jeans, boots, smudged eyeliner, zero filter, stood out in an industry still clinging to clean, conservative beauty. But one of the most legendary moments? It happened backstage. During a shoot with Francesco Scavullo for a Diana Ross campaign, someone spotted Gia's shredded Levi's. They asked to use them on Ross. After the shoot, Diana herself wanted to keep them. Gia didn't flinch. No, she said. Just like that. You can be Diana Ross, but you can't have my jeans. Who says that to a global icon? Gia did. And that right there tells you everything. She didn't follow trends. She was the trend. By 1979, Gia wasn't just booking jobs. She was dominating them. Versace, Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, Vogue, Cosmopolitan. Her face was on so many covers, you'd think she had a printing deal. At her peak,
I have to say that with my new hardcore, like when my accent is really like, I try to tone it down a little bit sometimes, okay? But I cannot say Yves Saint Laurent, okay? I just can't say it. It comes out of my mouth with like the thickest New York accent, and it is just, I just botch it. Yves Saint Laurent. Wait, Yves Saint Laurent. Okay, there we go. That's the best it's going to get. Let's go. Sorry, I just had to do that. Plus, you know, I got to use commentary. So I figured I'd use me as commentary.
she was earning up to $10,000 a day, the infamous
Hi,
threshold that
Jason.
came to define the top tier of fashion models. Not bad for someone who, a year earlier, was folding hoagies at a Philly deli. Francesco Scavullo once said, "Only 3 girls ever walked into my studio and made me say, wow." Gia was the last.
Wow.
New kind of model. She just was like a complete free spirit. And very
That is beautiful.
streetwise and marvelous to work with.
And she earned that. When the camera was on, Gia was electric. Not in a fake, polished way, but in a dangerously real way. You couldn't predict her, and that made her unforgettable. So here's the question. Was Gia modeling, or was she doing performance art before
Thank
anyone
you.
used that term? She became so iconic, so
Jeanette.
fast, that the industry dropped her last name. Just Gia, like Cher, like Madonna. You know you've made it when your first name is a brand. But here's the twist. While Gia was climbing to the top, something else was building beneath the surface. Fame was never going to be enough. And what happens when the high from success fades and the real highs take its place?
Uh-oh.
While Gia ruled the runways
Here it
and magazine
comes.
covers by day, by night she slipped into another world entirely. One of smoke, glitter, and pills. Studio 54, the Mud Club, Limelight. Gia didn't just attend New York's most notorious clubs.
Okay, so everybody went to Studio 54 back then, right? Okay. But she got herself, involved. And we look at these people on the cover of magazines and we forget that they don't even look like that. Like, nobody walks around looking like that. I mean, they could be beautiful, but throw her in a ponytail with pretty is pretty. I mean, natural beauty is natural beauty. It just is. But everybody has insecurities, and sometimes people pick something up that will take them away from themselves for a while. They just have no idea how bad it's really going to get and how it's going to, be the downfall. I couldn't handle having like a whole bunch of press talking about me and, whatever. Some people saying good things, some people saying bad, I would hope I'd have the attitude like, F you, F you, this is me. You don't like it, don't, look at me. But I would hope I'd have that attitude. But do we really?
She belonged to them. The velvet rope wasn't an obstacle. It was an invitation. She'd slide past it in jeans and a smirk, no entourage needed. Everyone knew if Gia showed up, the night got better. At first, it was all part of the
Hey,
scene.
Jack.
A line here, a pill there. Everyone in fashion was partying. But for Gia, it quickly went deeper. Her grief had a trigger. In March 1980, Wilhelmina Cooper, the woman who believed in Gia from day one, died of lung cancer. Gia was devastated. Wilhelmina wasn't just her agent, she was her anchor, her one maternal figure in an industry built on cold detachment. And when she died, something in Gia broke loose. She kept modeling, sure. She even popped up dancing in Blondie's Atomic music video. But behind the camera, the spiral had already begun. She started showing up late to shoots, or not at all. When she did show up, she was high. There's one story where she passed out mid-session with a lit cigarette in her hand.
Oh, God.
Another where she vanished during a shoot, still wearing a $10,000 Versace dress, to go score heroin. Then came the infamous Richard Avedon shoot. Full production team, studio booked. Gia was the star. She never showed. That job was worth $5,000. Another model took her place. The crew never forgot it. So here's the real talk. The fashion world will put up with your demons until they start costing money. And even then, Gia was so good, they kept trying to airbrush the damage, literally. In Vogue's November 1980 issue, her track marks were visible even after retouching. Think about that. They published the photos anyway. So here's a question for you. Was that respect for her talent or proof of how desperate the industry was to keep milking her image?
Milking.
Either way, the writing was on the wall. The girl who had once made cameras fall in love was becoming a liability. By 1981, the charm was cracking, and the industry that once chased her now quietly stepped back. She was dropped by her agency. The bookings slowed, and with nowhere left to crash in New York, Gia went home to Philly, chasing sobriety, or maybe just some kind of reset. She checked into a 21-day detox program. It didn't stick. Then came Rochelle, a college student, also hooked on heroin. Gia fell hard and fast.
See,
the relationship was toxic. Together, they spiraled deeper.
Now, that is something that they never showed in the movie. They never showed her and this college student, ever. They always showed her in love with the makeup artist, and who had about enough. And that little piece of I don't know if they're gonna like play it, but hold on, let me see if I could. Oh, I can't find it right now. I saw it on a short, and then I couldn't find it again. I ran out of time. But her infamous, like, it's in the movie, but she goes with when Wilhelmina passes and she needs to make money, she ends up with that guy as her agent, and he put her in front of, the whole world knew she had a problem at that point. And so now she had to say that she was sober and all that. And my God, it reminds me of the Leif Garrett interview. If you guys remember that. Hi, Axelot. Hi, Salty Peach. How are you guys? Good morning. So, yeah, it reminds me of that Leif Garrett interview, if you guys remember that or have ever heard of it, whatever, from, what is it? Behind the Music from VH1. I loved that show. And unfortunately, they do not have the Leif Garrett episode on YouTube. Unfortunately. But yeah, he was up there and I'm watching it and I'm like, this guy's high as a kite. Like I could tell, and I thought, am I wrong? And trust me, I knew better. I wasn't wrong. Okay. Like I knew, So the next morning on the radio, I'm listening to it, and I think it was probably like Howard Stern or something. I don't know what I was listening to, whatever was on. And they were saying, oh my God, Leif Garrett was so high in that interview. That, if you know what I'm talking about, that was her interview. She was so high. It was so obvious. And in the movie, the girlfriend caught her, but they never went into this. So let's see.
In spring, Gia was arrested for drunk driving. Then came the thefts from friends, even family. And yet, she kept trying. That's what people forget. She went back to detox, but then another blow. Chris von Wangenheim, the photographer who shot her most iconic early images, was killed in a car crash. Gia didn't take it well. She locked herself in the bathroom and used for hours. Friends say it wasn't just a relapse, it was her giving up. Years of abuse began to show. Gone was the flawless skin. In its place, abscesses on her hands, cysts on her back, track marks that no amount of makeup could hide. Her eyes looked tired, hollow, like the light was still in there somewhere, but buried deep. And this is where the industry fully backed away. There were no interventions, no check-ins, just silence. So let's ask the uncomfortable question. How many chances would Gia have gotten if mental health had been taken seriously back then? She was still a household name, but behind closed doors, Gia Carangi was just trying to survive.
Poor girl.
By fall of '81, Gia was back in rehab. Again, this time she meant it. She'd gained weight, looked older than her age, but there was still a spark in her eyes. A piece of her believed she could pull it off. One last shot. She reached out to Monique Pillard, a powerful agent at Elite. Gia sat in her office, sleeves down, voice steady. Monique later recalled, I said, Gia, I want to represent you so badly, but I keep hearing these horror stories. Tell me, why are you wearing such a long shirt? Gia didn't blink. She looked her in the eye and said, do you want to represent me or not? That was the gamble. No excuses, no begging, just a challenge. And Monique, despite every red flag, said yes. Gia stayed in Philadelphia and only came to New York for confirmed bookings.
Smart.
Most clients passed, too risky, too fragile. But one man gave her another shot, Francesco Scavullo.
Yeah.
He brought her in for one last Cosmopolitan cover in early 1982, her final cover. Scavullo remembered the shoot. I wanted it to be her best cover. And it wasn't. It couldn't be. That wonderful spirit, what she had, it was gone. The photo says it all. Gia, arms tucked behind her back, face still beautiful, but the spark?
Hidden.
Dimmed. As you're hearing this, picture that image. No pose, no attitude, just resignation. What do you see in her face? Regret? Exhaustion? Or maybe just someone trying to hold it together long enough to get through the day? Let us know in the comments, because that photo, for many, was the last time they saw Gia Carangi alive. 1982.
She was
Gia agreed to do
gorgeous.
something she had never done before
Gorgeous.
and would never do again. A television interview.
Oh, here it
ABC's
is.
2020 was filming a segment on the dark side of modeling. Elite pushed Gia to appear. Maybe it would help clean up her image. Maybe it would show the world she was back. But it didn't go that way.
Oh,
She sat
God.
down in front of the camera, hair neat, blouse loose, smile, forced. At first, she played the part. I started working with very good people, she said calmly. A lot of work. I mean, all the time, very fast. I didn't build into a model, I just sort of became one. But
Oh,
then the
Lord.
interviewer pressed. At one point, you got into the drug
Hey!
scene, didn't you?
I
Gia
know.
didn't
I'm
dodge.
sorry,
Yes,
honey.
you could say that I did. It kind of creeps up on you and catches you in a world that no one will ever know, except someone that has been there. Are you free of it now? She nodded. Oh, yes, I am. Definitely. I wouldn't be here right now talking to you if I wasn't. And yet, something was off. Her voice wavered. Her smile twitched. When asked if she was happy, she hesitated. Well, she said, pausing, I just wanted to think about it. Now I am happy with it. But the eyes said otherwise. It was one of the only times Gia spoke publicly about her struggles. And even then, it was half-coded. You could feel her slipping between what she wanted to say and what she thought people wanted to hear. And that raises the question, if that was Gia trying to convince the world she was fine, who was she trying to convince more, us or herself? By 1983, the comeback dream was over. Gia's modeling career had...
What a damn shame. This industry really, really ate them up, used them up, sucked everything they could from them, and then tosses them aside. I mean, seriously, I truly believe that. And also, while we're on the subject, a little side note, can you please tell me, people, why Kendall Jenner is the highest paid model in the world? Just throwing that out there, okay? Have you ever seen her walk the catwalk? Have you ever seen Gigi Hadid walk the catwalk? Why is she? Oh, that's right. She's a Jenner, and her mommy made sure she was the highest paid and made sure she got the cover of Vogue. And it, in my opinion, slaps people like Gia right in the face. She just needed... Yeah, I'm terrified. Models don't have a union for protection. Writers, actors, directors have unions. Very, very true. Very true. And no, absolutely. They won't. It's what they consider a what do you call that? Freelance. They're freelancing, Yeah. Jack, you're pretty I've noticed lately that you're pretty good on topics I wouldn't have expected you to be. God damn. Okay. Let's go. Cuz I am I am in recovery myself, and I'm also coming towards the end of my master's, which is why I'm not on a exact schedule right now. But yeah, so it bothers me to see especially the way it was treated back then, just terrible. And I want you guys to picture somebody wearing a $10,000. Is this our friend? Hold on. Let me check. A $10,000 Versace dress in the kind of areas you go to, I don't know how to say it on here, get something in New York. she must have stood out like like crazy, right? Okay. Oh, I already see. Okay. Can one of the mods take I love Jesus, amen, out, please? That's 45K in today's money. That's wild. Right. And she just took off. I mean, that's that, right? Thank you, Jack. Let's take him. Next time it comes in, let's just take him completely out. Okay.
Flatlined. She was caught using drugs on a shoot in North Africa and sent home. No more chances, no more phone calls. Even her name, once shorthand for raw beauty, was quietly erased from casting lists.
Oh,
Under pressure from her mother, Gia entered another
her
rehab
mother was
program, this time at Eagleville Hospital, just outside Philly. But this wasn't about saving her career anymore. This was about survival. And in that quiet, stripped-down place,
God.
far from studios and flashbulbs, Gia started telling the truth. But here's what makes it even more heartbreaking. She was still trying. She enrolled in a cinematography program, started talking about film school. She got clean. For real, 7 months. She took a job at a jeans store in a suburban mall. She tried to build a quiet life, one without makeup chairs, editors.
I remember that scene actually in the movie where the girls were like, that's her. Oh, that's her. And I understand back then we were told, like, as kids, like, all right, I wasn't around in her times, but like before social media, I mean, like, we know, kids today know, young people know, everything is edited, everything, most people are filtering everything to death, right? So back in the day, we were told, these are airbrushed. This is not what but we didn't believe it. Okay. We always thought that's how they looked. Other than walking down the runway, I would think, when I was a little kid, like, who's going to wear that in public? It's ridiculous. But I got it. I got it. My model knowledge only stems from Devil Wears Prada. Oh, God, Nanny. Oh, God, Mike. Yeah, okay. There wasn't even that much in there. But the thing is, it's like, they didn't even, and like in the movie, they said that the girls were looking at her and they were like, they don't even look like that. Nobody tells us that. And it's true, it's very, very true. But she was sick and didn't know it.
Or headlines. So, what changed? By the end of 1986, her body started failing. Strange rashes, pain in her feet, flakes in her ears. The doctors didn't know what to call it, but Gia did. She had been clipping newspaper articles, reading every report.
Oh, no.
She knew what was coming. She told her mom.
Did she?
Mommy, I really have something wrong with me. Kathleen didn't believe her. No one wanted to believe it. But on Memorial Day, Gia overdosed again. This time, unintentionally. She was rushed to Warminster General Hospital, barely conscious. That's where the truth caught up. Gia was diagnosed with AIDS. Diagnosis hit like a death sentence. It was 1986. AIDS was still considered a gay man's disease, misunderstood,
Ridiculous.
feared, stigmatized. Gia became one of the first well-known women, and one of the only supermodels, to be diagnosed publicly. She was transferred to Hahnemann University Hospital in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Her condition deteriorated fast.
Look at the,
Doctors wore
you gotta
protective
be
suits
terrified.
just to enter her room. Staff wiped down her phone after every use. Dr. Wilbur Oakes, who treated her, later said, she was one of the very first AIDS patients we had. Certainly the first woman. By the time she arrived, her personality was strange. She looked like she'd been through hell.
God.
And on November 18th, 1986, Gia Carangi died from AIDS-related complications. She was just
Pneumonia.
26. But here's the part that still
Yeah.
stings. No one from the fashion world came to her funeral.
That's
Not one photographer,
disgusting.
not one agent, not one editor. The same industry that had celebrated her, profited from her, and depended on her, completely disappeared the moment she became inconvenient, dangerous, unmarketable. So here's the question. Did they forget her? Or did they just want to pretend she never existed? The only person from fashion who reached out afterward was Francesco Scavullo. He sent a mass card. He said he was heartbroken. Even as her life was falling apart, Scavullo said, Gia never missed a shoot with him.
Thank you, Salty.
Most girls fade, he said. Gia disappeared at her peak. But Gia didn't disappear. Not really. In fact, in the years after her death, her legend only grew. Maybe it was because she left too soon. Or maybe it was because no one wanted to admit what the industry had done to her. It was easier to blame Gia than to confront the system. Easier to whisper junkie than to ask what she was trying so hard to numb. Because drugs didn't destroy Gia. They distracted her from the reality that no runway, no paycheck, no camera could fix. A lifetime of feeling unloved. But despite it all, she stayed. She didn't just survive in that industry, she carved out space for others, like Cindy Crawford, who was literally nicknamed Baby Gia when she started. Same eyebrows, same stare, same impact. Gia made androgyny glamorous. She made queerness visible. She gave permission to be different in an industry that only pretended to like edgy. Long before anyone had a term for it, Gia was lesbian chic. And her death? As devastating as it was, it forced a conversation the fashion world had been avoiding. Suddenly, AIDS had a face that didn't fit the stereotype. It couldn't be ignored anymore. So was Gia Carangi a victim of the system?
Photos.
Or just too raw for a world built on perfection?
Stunning.
Both. She came up in an era that punished emotion, queerness, and addiction. She didn't play by the rules, and she paid for it. But what the industry couldn't erase was the way she changed it. Gia made androgyny desirable, queerness visible, and vulnerability powerful. She didn't pose. She confronted the camera. She didn't imitate trends. She became one. And her influence? Still alive. In 1998, HBO released Gia, the biopic starring a then-rising Angelina Jolie. And it wasn't just another made-for-TV drama. Jolie's performance was raw, electric, almost uncomfortably real. She didn't play Gia, she channeled her. Jolie won a Golden Globe for the role, and in interviews she admitted that portraying Gia
I'm not a
changed
fan
her.
of her.
She was so full of life, so honest, so fragile, Jolie said. I fell in love with her. Model Erin Wasson once described Gia as her spirit model. Ruby Rose has cited her as a touchstone for queer visibility in fashion. And even models like Catherine McNeil and Freya Beha Eriksson, gritty, androgynous, magnetic, are often seen as walking in Gia's footsteps. Gia's story gave AIDS a female face. It exposed cracks the industry didn't want to see. And it helped spark movements that fight today for the protection she never had. So ask yourself, was Gia ahead of her time, or was her time just too afraid of someone like her? Drop your thoughts and the names of models who carry that same fearless energy in the comments. Let's talk. And if this story hit you,
I'm appalled, literally appalled, though, that the whole industry, not one photographer even showed up. I mean, this girl, you know what it is? She made them so much money. And that's all they care about. But now she couldn't make it for them anymore. So to hell with her, right? Oh, yeah. As much as I'm not a big, huge Angelina fan. It's a good movie. Now, they briefly mentioned the college student here, but I never knew about that. But now I have part of another one that's a little bit different. So not for the whole thing, but let me just make sure. Okay. gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Played a significant role in shaping the woman she would become. Ultimately, her unconventional upbringing primed her for the fashion world, and she went on to
Not
achieve
best
global fame as
narration.
one of the most iconic faces of the 1980s fashion scene. Now, let's get into her career. So, picture this: a young, vibrant, beautiful Gia bursts into the fashion scene in New York City, all thanks to a chance encounter in a hair salon. At just 17 years old, she signs with Wilhelmina Models, and her career takes off
Oh,
like a
she was only
shooting star.
17.
Gia's rise to fame is nothing short of meteoric. She works with the creme de la creme of the fashion world. With her striking looks, she graces the covers of renowned magazines like Vogue Paris, British Vogue, and Vogue Italia. Designer campaigns from Armani to Dior clamor to have her as their muse. Gia became a true icon, known simply by her first name among the fashion elite. Now, during this time, she found love also. In her biography, A Thing of Beauty, it recalls how she was always in love with fellow models she was shooting with. She would see how beautiful they are and always wanted to get a piece of them, right? Her most famous lover, though, was her makeup artist, Cindy Linter. From the start,
Wow, she
co-workers
is
remembered how
very
Gia was
pretty,
so into
Cindy
Sandy.
Linter.
Sandy told the Hollywood Reporter, and I quote, "One thing I quickly discovered about Gia is that she did not want to be alone. There's a
Or
lot of people out
Sandy.
there who think they know her better
Sorry.
than I did, and so they say she was a loner. They were wrong. During the day, she worked with the best people in the business, but let's face it, at the end of the day, everybody went their separate ways. At night, she did not want to be alone, and she was just 19 years old, alone in New York. She had her own apartment, but she ended up staying with me a lot because she liked me and because she wanted the closeness of having a girlfriend. She would bring me flowers, and she phoned me often. It was never a
So, Mike, just because you're the one that said that you needed to check the movie out, just so you know, this woman who was her makeup artist, and like in the other one was the one that told her to calm down, not to panic, took her first picture. They also did like a photo shoot together. She really loved her. And also, the difference is that this is real life, right? The movie shows her living with a man. So tell me how she spent the night. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So there's always dramatic differences when movies are made. What they'll do is they'll combine a few characters into one person. They do that in a lot of true stories, like Black Hawk Down. They did that there. I know that. And don't ask me how I know. I don't even want to know how I know. But in a few things. So I didn't realize how beautiful the makeup artist was. She could have been a model herself.
torrid affair, but we did love each other. This never happened again with a woman in my lifetime, so it's a
Yes,
difficult relationship to label. We
she
spent a lot of
does.
time together, going to clubs, restaurants, just out all the time. We had chemistry. I got her. I didn't pry. I got her moods, and she felt safe with me. End quote. Her life seemed to be going great, but behind the glitz and glamour lies a dark secret. She started feeling the pressure of the industry, stating in 1982, and I quote, "When you're in demand and people are saying, I want you, it's not easy to say no. I don't like to disappoint people. I'm basically a satisfier, a people pleaser. So you find yourself working a lot, a lot. And if you want to take a day off because you need a day to rest or to get yourself together so you can be there, have
Supermodel.
your energy for the
That's where it
next
comes
day, it's
from.
hard. Models are never supposed to be down or be tired or have a headache. They've got to be up all the time. The pressure was real." End quote. Gia found
People, beauty sleep, beauty sleep, beauty sleep. Just like I say, Vaseline, Vaseline, Vaseline. Okay? Okay. But Salty, do it, girl. I think you should have done it and just whooped Kendall's ass right off the catwalk while you're at it. Do that for me. Just for me. Come on.
solace in the wild nights of Studio 54 and the Mud Club, where Coca Cola, the sniff powder, if you catch my drift, flows freely. Tragedy strikes when her beloved agent and mentor Wilhelmina Cooper passed away. sending Gia spiraling into her drug addiction. And Wilhelmina Cooper was like a mother figure for her, the mother she never had. And
Okay,
Gia throughout her
Mike, I'll
life
see
was
you
looking for like
next
that
time. Make
strong
sure you
woman
watch the
influence to
movie.
kind of make up
Look
for her
into
mother
her.
leaving her. Even her affairs with other women, she just grew to have a
Leave a
fascination with
comment.
women, always looking for that safety, love, and comfort from other
God,
women
look at
that
those
she didn't get
beautiful
from her
lip
mother. So when
color.
Wilhelmina passed away, who was that figure for her, she just went spiraling because Wilhelmina looked out for her.
Mm-hmm.
They admired each other as people, you know, and looked out for her in the industry and made sure everything was good for her. And so she felt like she lost her protector and didn't know what to do. Her once promising career started to crumble as she battles violent temper tantrums, falls asleep during shoots, and even walks out to buy substances. Like she'll walk out of a shoot just to go buy substances. The toll is evident in her appearance during that time with visible needle marks and red bumps on her elbow. Desperate to turn her life around, Gia tries to quit substances and
God,
moves
look at
back to
that
Philadelphia.
picture.
She
I
undergoes
love black and
detox but
white.
soon falls back into her old habits. She was arrested for driving under the influence. Her career took another hit, and despite brief attempts at a comeback, her modeling offers dwindled, and former industry friends distanced themselves, fearing their own reputations would suffer.
Oh,
During this era,
God.
she spoke on her substance use, saying, and I quote, I think the reason someone gets into something like that is because, for me anyway, there were a lot of unanswered questions in my mind about work and about life. Money didn't interest me. I got to a point where I had all this money. I had everything I ever wanted in life or thought that I wanted. And I said, what the hell is this all for? I mean, you need money to survive, but I think people value it too much. The world seems to be based on money and sex, and I'm looking for better things than that, like happiness and love and caring. I was really down on society, but then I found that I was part of society too. And for me to be doing substances made me as bad as I thought society was. I think maybe society is kind of what I make myself, and that makes me happy, happier than being high. End quote. Gia's hopes flickers, but
Wow.
it's not completely extinguished. She signs with Elite Model Management, determined to reclaim her former
Yeah, the
glory.
guy.
Though some clients
Wait, which
still
one was
hesitated to
Lee?
work with her, a few remembered the superstar she once was and give her a chance. Gia's career becomes a shadow of its former self, working mainly with department stores and catalogs. Her struggle with substances intensifies, causing her to leave photo shoots.
Must do my commentary. um, that must have been heartbreaking to be on the cover of like every magazine that isn't Better Homes and Garden, if you get my drift. Vogue and Vogue Italia and Cosmo from every country. You know what I'm saying? Just be the it girl. And now you're reduced to, I don't know, Sears catalog. All right. Not putting down anybody who works as a model at Sears catalog. I'm just saying, usually you would start like someone, you would start out there, not end up there. This one I didn't find to be like the best bio of her, but I think the woman who did this one, she did it damn well. I just am really bad as an editor. So, and especially with school, reactions are best for me, except for the Mackenzie Sharilla one was not a reaction. So, I just feel that must have hurt so bad. And you must, like, I just want you to picture how that must have felt like, oh, wow, I was used up. And now look at me. And that, it's like a vicious cycle, and that would make her want to use even more. It's such a sad story. And the truth is, I really would like to read a biopsy, excuse me, God forgive me, a biography on her. All right, let's go. We sent home from international campaigns. She tried to be her best. Oh, gosh.
and even be sent home from international campaigns. She tried her
Jesus.
best to make it to shoots on time, but she fell short every single time. She spoke on why she was always late to shoots and how she was trying to discipline herself, saying, and I quote, "I'm disciplining myself. If I have a booking, I plan for it the day before. I have to. If I
I like
didn't, and
that.
if I were
I
late or
like
didn't
that
show up or
excellent.
something, they'd think I was goofing off. So the thing is to make sure that I'm together and that I get enough sleep. I'm basically a night person, so it's hard for me to go to bed at a normal hour. Then in the morning, I just want to keep sleeping. I don't want to get out of bed. I've had this problem all my life. It's why I was always late. I was really spoiled, you know. I was a brat, and that stays with you. It's a hard thing to change, but once you know these things about yourself, you have to try to discipline yourself because after a certain age, nobody else is going to do it for you." End quote. In early 1983, Gia leaves New York for good. Her dreams were shattered by her addiction. It's a tragic end to a story that started with such promise. Gia's legacy remains
Wow.
as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dark side that can lurk
Yeah,
beneath the
they
glamorous facade of
mentioned
the
it.
fashion world. Gia's tragic story comes to a heartbreaking end. Struggling with addiction, she spent the majority of her hard earned
We'll
modeling
look up the
earnings on
name.
substances. In her final years, she found peace in the company of various lovers, friends, and family members, seeking fleeting moments of comfort in Philadelphia and Atlantic City. In December 1984, Gia sought help and entered an intense drug treatment program at Eagleville Hospital. After completing the program, she tried to rebuild her life by working at a clothing store, but the allure of substances proved too strong, and she eventually left her job. She then took on menial jobs as a checkout clerk and later in the cafeteria of a nursing home.
Oh,
However,
God.
the grip of addiction had tightened its hold once more, leading Gia back into the destructive cycle of substance use and engaging in selling her body in
Oh,
Atlantic City.
see
And you
that
know what
I
I mean
didn't
by selling
know.
her body. In December 1985, it brought a devastating blow when Gia was admitted to a hospital with bilateral pneumonia. A few days later, she received a devastating diagnosis of AIDS related complex. The fall of 1986 marked another harrowing incident as Gia was found badly beaten and, RAPED'd, like someone took advantage of her forcefully on her body, resulting.
Well, I hate. Well, they're gonna. They're gonna. They got theirs if they did that to her. Well, the ones that did that to her. We all know what she was trying to do at that point. Now, the movie shows it as the mother not allowing her to move into the house after the diagnosis. Okay. So it's all very mishmashed, the timeline. It's very, foggy. So I would probably say do the book. If you get hands on it, maybe we could find it. Yeah, I love real photography, actually, myself. Um, like she needed a mother before she's right. And in the movie, they show the mother as not letting her come home, leaving her in a motel by herself. And she was already diagnosed at this point, and she decided to take all the money that she could get her hands on and go and say, whatever you got. That has to be movie, because nobody would say that, because you're going to get robbed. I'm not trying to laugh at her, or just, it was a ridiculous thing in the movie. And I remember thinking that. But then she went home, but it must have really hurt. And you're sitting there getting, I don't know, checked out at a grocery store. And what you don't know is that the person checking you out was one of the world's top models ever, and here they are ringing up your peas and potatoes or whatever. I don't know. But you feel me? It's just, that must have stung more than anything. Like, oh, look how bad I screwed up. Look how bad I ruined everything. That's how I would feel. I'm just putting it out there, like that's how I would feel. And each time it would probably, if I didn't have a real handle on the addiction part of things, I would absolutely be dragged back out. Oh, for sure. And then, guys, let me move this heater. There's also the fact that we've got people who, I'm sorry, we've got people who, like back then, even today, very, very, very old school people in a certain 12-step program that I don't even know if we can say it on here. I don't know. But it's double for 2 first letters of the alphabet, okay? The very old school, the OGs, they don't want you to say a substance other than something that you can drink, you know? So basically, you just change everything to that and people get the drift, okay? Some people won't care and they will just say it because it's getting to the point now that most people coming in have dual or, different. It's a substance, not just a drink or not a drink at all. That is their, what's bringing them down. And trying to talk around this is hard on YouTube. So, I just feel like I can feel what she felt, the failure that she thought she failed. And there's a saying like, don't pick up even if your ass falls off. And, it sounds funny, but it's true. And I am so sad that she got that horrible, her passing away was such a horrible way to go. She certainly didn't deserve it, and she definitely deserved more love from her mother. In the movie, if you've seen it, they have her, oh, sit up straight. Oh, when are you going to go back to work? Like wanting her to be, high flying, model again. And it wasn't gonna happen. And the mother needed to understand that, And the one thing I did learn today was that she was cutting out articles, that she knew something was very wrong with her. That I didn't get. I never knew that. So yeah, I am going to find out the name of the book. Salty, if you have it, put it in the chat, the name of it, because if I need to, I'll look for it, like, see if I could find it like on Amazon or something. Okay.
In another hospitalization. And on October 18th, Gia was admitted to a hospital in Center City, Philadelphia. Tragically, 1 month later, on November 18th, 1986, at the tender age of just 26, Gia succumbed to AIDS-related complications. Her passing marked one of the first instances of a well-known woman losing her life to the disease. In a sorrowful turn of events, her funeral, held at a small funeral home in Philadelphia, lacked the presence of anyone from the fashion world who had once adored her. They all literally abandoned her, even in death. Her ex-girlfriend, Sandy, told The Hollywood Reporter, and I quote, "I want all the guys and girls out there, her fans, to know that Gia finally knew that drugs are not the answer. But it was too late. I'm not saying that I avoided drugs completely myself, but there was something unappealing about shooting up. It was the 80s, and people were always offering me something to snort, and it was like, okay, fine. They were party drugs back then. We partied, we snorted, we went to the mud club, and hurrah,
smoked it through the filter, huh?
Coca-Cola, and a couple of times it wasn't. It was heroin.
Ooh.
That was a different high, and I liked it, but it wasn't worth the headache I had the next morning." She continued by recalling her last encounter with Gia, saying, "Sometime around 1983
that could have killed her,
my doorbell rang. It was Gia, just standing there and smiling. She had on a yellow cashmere sweater, her favorite. She sat down on my couch with me, put her head on my shoulder, and cried. My shirt was dripping wet with tears. I kept telling her how well she looked and wondered why
She
she
has
was crying.
beautiful
It was
hair.
the end of our romance. I knew it and she knew it. Because she looked so good, I had been tricked into thinking that she was on the road to recovery. I never knew she had AIDS until later. After maybe 30 minutes, she looked out the window, nodded to someone in the streets, and left. I would never see her again. Shortly before her passing, Gia had a casual conversation with one of her nurses who was oblivious to Gia's past and who she was. The nurse told her
That's
about a
nice.
photographer who wanted to take pictures of her daughter. Gia's response was very, tragic. She said, and I quote, "Don't do it. Even if she wants it, don't let her do it. I used to be a model. You don't want your kid to be a model," end quote. Soon after she died, the industry went looking for her replacement, and that same year, Cindy Crawford rose to prominence. The modeling industry is a lot like Hollywood. They will use you up until the very last drop, then
Yep.
spit you out and quickly find your replacement. This is exactly what Kate Moss was trying to tell us. And
Yep.
I did a video for Kate Moss also, so check out my Kate Moss video. Gia's story serves as a
That
poignant
was the
reminder of the
next one I
devastating
wanted to
consequences that
look
can
into.
arise from the pursuit of fame and the ravages of addiction. May her memory be a solemn reminder that no matter what you're going to, substance use is never the answer. I'm glad that we live in an age where people encourage, going to therapy and mental health and speaking about your traumas and understanding why you are the way you are and taking anger management classes. Please, the substances are always just a temporary filler that creates a lot more chaos in your life. So always seek out the help if you see that you're gravitating to, like, you have an addictive personality, and it don't always have to be substances, because Gia was also addicted to people. She was
Mm,
very needy. All of her lovers talked about how needy she was and didn't like to be alone and always wanted to be around people and wanted comfort, wanted validation. That was an addiction too. And they say people are more addicting than
beautiful
substances.
girl.
So even if you're addicted to people yourself, or you find yourself having an addictive personality, you're addicted to food, you're addicted to substances, you're addicted to alcohol, you're addicted to different things in life, there's always a source for that addiction, and it always comes from somewhere. And it's best that you just try to tackle where it's coming from, heal from it, and you would still be here because you deserve to be here. And I don't think anybody was born for no reason. She left a great impact on the world, and I couldn't imagine just how much more successful she would have been had she lived and had she, not deal with this kind of addiction. Look at Cindy Crawford, how far Cindy Crawford has come. The longevity she had in her career, Gia would have been even bigger than that. And it's just so sad that her life was cut short because of this.
At
Right? And I'll say this
26,
as shade to
guys.
parents: when you are going to leave, always speak to your kids. Do not abandon them, please. We see time and time again, I do videos on these celebrities and starlets and figures, and we see the same pattern. It's always an abandonment of a parent abusing them or taking advantage of them. It always stems from our parents in our childhood, right? And then they grow up into these adults, and then we judge them as adults, but we never peel back
Oh,
the
really?
layers and see that
What?
it all started
I
from a
have
vulnerable
one.
child who just never got
You
the
guys
love that
know
they
I'm
needed,
sick.
and then they ended up spiraling. So once we start having more
I'm beat
compassion for adults
in the
today and try
time,
to
though.
understand where they came from,
Oh, that's an
maybe the
awesome
world will be a
photo.
better
Look at
world,
those
and we'd
eyes.
stop these cycles as ourselves. We would stop these cycles with our
The
children and make sure
hair.
the children we have in the future are much better children for the world, right?
That was a really, really great, um, I thought I knew a lot about her. I didn't realize how little I really did know about her. She was absolutely more amazing than I thought. Also, if you don't know, this girl can write. Well, I'm sorry, she was able to write and she wrote very well. And everything had meaning behind it. And I truly think that if she had to be out of the industry, yes, she was a very complex person, absolutely. And definitely leave comments if you watch this. I would appreciate it. And hit the like button. Because I definitely think this is the kind of story that deserves some discussion. And I know she got a few chances, but if she didn't pass at such a young age and she couldn't go back to modeling, like she was just like persona non grata at that point. I believe that if she wrote, she would get published. First of all, if she wrote a book, okay, anonymous. If she wrote a book without, like, you know, if she wrote it all about the modeling in the back, oh God, that would sell. Okay. And then also her other stories, like just her stories, were very meaningful to the modeling industry, to life in general, to things that she went through, but they were good. And I feel like she should have, maybe if she wasn't sick, jumped into that if she wasn't going to pass. But unfortunately, we'll never know what she was capable of. But I can definitely understand the feeling of being something and then losing it. And then it's like you don't even want to tell people that you were that, because they'll think like, well, what the hell happened? You know, like, well, you're just like, what are you now? You know, you just don't, it's not a good feeling, you know. But yeah, so I think the next one I would like to look into is Kate Moss. I did see something recently, I think it was a short, where it showed, yeah, it showed pictures of her before, during, and after, you know, the Coca-Cola problem she had. And also, don't want this waif model stuff back. I just really don't. I had a friend in New York who was one, and she wasn't a total it like Gia, but she walked some heavy duty runways, and, you know, kind of, you wouldn't recognize her from one like picture to another, or from her in real life. And I always wondered like what ended up happening to her, because usually it's never good, you know. Okay, let's take a look at a short that I found, and let's take a look at it. See, we got to leave on a laugh, guys. You know that, right? All right, here we go. Got it. I love this guy.
For sure. I definitely like your dating profile, you know what I mean? And I want to get to know you a little better. You Latina?
Why does everybody ask me if I'm Latina? Isn't it obvious?
Hell yeah, but I definitely didn't want to assume, mommy. You know what I mean? I did that before. It's been wrong, so I didn't want to. But yeah, go ahead and step back a little bit. Let me see all that sexy for the one time. Oh, my God. God.
That's
girl,
terrible.
God, girl. God. Ah, la 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 la. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm dead. Yeah, I know, he is so funny. Oh shit. Who are you guys talking about? Which lady? The first one or the second one? Oh shit, I got you guys on top. All okay. Oh, see, skipped over Fournette. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that comment. Let me go back to here. Hold on a second, guys. Where's that comment? Eh. Where the hell did you say that? Have I lost my mind? Probably. Okay, it's right. It's after Anonymous's return. I totally forgot about your bus trip, honey. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. Where in the hell? Here it is. I was going to give up. Okay. Yeah, if she hadn't been gotten sick, she could have helped others with addiction. That would have been like something for real, because that's the path I decided to take. I could have went back into like finance and all that, but let's be honest, I've been through too much in my life now for that to. I enjoy, like, all right, I know it sounds crazy, but yes, I enjoy getting up in the morning and checking the markets. Don't ask, okay? But I do. I study them. I still do that. But as far as like what I want to do, that I think is, I didn't used to want to do this as a living. I did it for nothing through, just through sponsoring. But I feel now that, I can make a difference, because trust me, there are so many out there that aren't qualified, and then there are some that are, you'll never forget, they were the greatest, type of counselors. So, and people that work in that industry, oh my God, what am I talking about? Like I'm walking down some catwalk in the industry, we like to say. Anyway, but yeah, that would have been great. This one just broke my heart. It really did. I have this short. I'll put it up for tomorrow. I didn't have time. I had saved a few, got rid of all old ones that I never look at, and move on. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Please, I will ask you to thumbs up, and please come back and leave a comment. I very much appreciate that. And whose channel were you talking about? Which one were you guys referring to? That like Salty really liked. Looking at your comments. Myrtle, that's so cute. Now she's got to bring out the big. I gotta go. Fernette, I used you. Well, they were both about Gia. I'm guessing the last one. The last one, because of the Lord's lady. Okay, thank you. What was I going to say? I used Fernette as like a super anything, like I was explaining, and I'm like, like a super cleaner, Fernette. Oh, God. Okay, thank you. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. I very much appreciate it. And a shout out to those creators. I didn't even have time to put them in the description box, but I will do so right after. I know, it's true. Fernette, I know. You need help, honey. You need help. Myrtle's hiding because the big vacuum has to come out because they're bad and they knocked over the candle. Okay. Bad Myrtle. All right. See you guys on the next one. And I will definitely work on some stuff on Cindy Crawford, not Cindy Crawford, Kate Moss. You know, it's weird. It's like today, I just don't know the names of many of the models besides the Hadids, and it just and there's too many nepo babies. It's so much nepotism in it. It's just not the same anymore. I mean, these girls just don't have it the way they had it in the 90s, like, and in the 80s, like the supermodels, the real the models whose walks were famous. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they just don't have it like that. And I'm not putting them down, but like Claudia Schiffer, and I mean, these are people that, you know, you just don't forget. I mean, when I think of great models of our time, I just, sorry, I don't think of Hailey Bieber or Kendall Jenner. I just don't. There are women who are so much better and would do a better job. And I just, the nepotism, you know? Okay, guys, have a great rest of your day. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. They're not naturally good at it at all. Some people have it and some people don't. And like, I know I don't have it. But like, some people do. Some people can work that camera just right, just perfectly, and some people can't. And no, I'm sorry, I don't think of them as like the greatest models. They did not, either one of them, deserve to ever be on the front cover of Vogue. That's when I knew modeling had lost all of its, like, credit, if that makes sense. Okay, that's just my opinion. Please leave yours below, and let me know what you think, please. And have a great day, guys. I will see you most likely tomorrow, but definitely on Thursday. Okay, all right, you guys, have a good one. Bye.